Morning, guys. So we're going to finish off what we started yesterday, the boot camp day one, part two. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn from it. Moving forward, we're going to try and get as much as we can done today, and hopefully get into the coding. Just carry on with the introduction. Stay tuned. You probably end up getting the API keys today. Don't tell Moondev.
Absolute master at this stuff, because then you'll see all my videos, right? Now what we want to do is we want to do a little bit of math in Python. But before that, I want to talk about importing stuff in Python. And this is one of my favorite things. Now, importing things is essentially this. Okay. Long story short, and this is why I love coding, is because the smartest people in the world, they've been doing this for 20, 30 years. I don't even know. Way longer than you or I, right? They're mathematicians. They know all this stuff that we don't really need to know anymore, because they just build it and then they allow us to import it. And importing means saying, like, hey, for example, if I had this variable, but it was like 10,000 variables and all this crazy stuff, this whole machine, this piece of software, kind of like an app. Okay, that's a better analogy. You know, on your phone, you can download an app. Well, you can do the same thing with coding. You can be like, hey, I want to download your package. I want to import your module. That's how they say it. It's called a module, but in reality, it's just a pre-made app by another developer. And that module that you import is kind of like going to the App Store and saying, hey, download this app because I want to use it. So for example, I can say import math, and somebody built a whole library. Another weird word. A library is just like an app, right? It's just got all of these functions and variables that you can use. I can say import math, I hit play, nothing's gonna happen, but it did import math. So now I can do some math in Python. Now I'm gonna show you pretty much basic math, but I wanted to talk about importing things just very briefly, because you will import things, and it is weird terminology again. I'm gonna put some of it here. Packages, import, it might be called import package, it might be called import modules. And this stuff, the reason I'm telling you all of these weird words and stuff is because when you Google things, you're gonna get this weird terminology sometimes. And to me, it was like, holy moly, I have no clue what you're saying. I wish I learned all these words when I got started, right? So when it gets intimidating like that, it's usually because of a lack of vocab. Not that you don't have a great vocab. I'm sure you have an amazing vocab. But like I said at the start, coders use really, really weird terminology that we just don't use in the English dictionary. And that's why we think coders are so smart, because they're using all these words that, you know, import modules. Or what are modules? I don't know. They're apps. They're like pre-made code by other developers that make our coding so much easier. So that's my little rant on importing. Could be called import package, import modules, and so on and so on. Let's talk about math. So math in Python is like math in the real world. Let's go ahead and start a variable, which is just a storage box, remember, and let's call this math box, and call it, let's type in 34.45. Okay, what is that? What type of number? Remember, the integers are the whole numbers. This is a float. So a float is a decimal point number. And then I could say plus 34. Now, if this is a float, because it's a decimal point number, this is an integer. Now, what if I wanted to print out math box now? Math box is gonna do this equation. This is math equation. Like, you don't need to know super good math, because it can just do it for you. I hit print, and it does that math equation for me. So that's how you add. This is how you minus. I hit play, and now it's 0.45, right? Because now it's 34.45. 0.45 minus 34. By the way, if you ever have any questions, use me as a resource. Ask them below. I will make a follow-up video or multiple follow-up videos if I miss anything. I think I'm covering everything you need to know in Python. You know, as an algorithmic trader, I went through all of my notes, everything I learned over the last few years, put it all in this video. But if I miss anything, ask me in the question section below, in the comment section, and I will answer them or make a new video. But so you can see, that's how you add, that's how you subtract. This is how you multiply, this little asterisk. So math box now equals 34.45, and since it's a decimal, it's called a float, times 34, which is a whole number. So 34.45 times 34. I can't tell you that math, but look how quickly Python can. It's 1171.3. Now divide is like this. So take these notes, you know, it's plus, minus, multiply, divide, just like that. Now you can see 34.45 divided by 34 is 1.01. Now let's do let's do one more. And this would be, I don't use this much. Well, I sometimes use it, but when I was not coding, I wouldn't ever say, you know, this 34 to the power of 4. What is that? That's like 34 to the power of 4. So it's 34 times 34, 34 times 34 times 34. I think this is a little more advanced math, but this is just another equation you can do, and it's double asterisk. And you can see the power. 34 times 34. Just like that. Now, let's see what else. Is there any other math I want to go over? And sorry, this was incorrect. Now it's correct. Well, actually, it was correct before. I've never put anything to the power of 34. Oh, I see what's going on here. It is correct, but you can see it's e plus 52. So this is like an exponent. You have to move the decimal over 52 times. So it's a humongous number. So when I put it to 3, it looks more correct. 34 to the power of 3 is 40,885. Now we're getting into advanced math. We don't really need to do that. These are the operators. But what you can do always is say, what are the math operators in Python? Just like that, Google. Remember, Google is your best friend. You can see plus, minus, asterisk, and there's more rows, so you can see examples there if you ever get stuck. Again, like, I want to make sure to teach you these fundamentals and show you how everything is actually on Google, but you just have to learn these fundamentals, some gibberish, these weird words, and all that, and then you can code anything because it's all on Google. So let's keep on moving. Let's jump into sentences. So now you know some math, which is awesome. And we've already gone over sentences a bit. So I will fly through this, but sentences equal strings. So whenever you want a sentence, if, hey, this is my sentence, you can't do it like this. You have to wrap it in parentheses, and they can be single or double. And here's a little trick for you. I highlighted this whole sentence. I hold down shift and I hit the parenthesis button, and it put parentheses on both sides. And I can say sentence equals that. Remember, sentences are simply just strings. So I can go ahead and say print sentence like that, and it will print my sentence. But what if I just wanted half the sentence? So let's do half equals sentence. And remember, I could say, okay, how many symbols are here? There's 0, because we start at 0. 0 is H. 1 is E. 2 is Y. 3 is this blank space. 4 is the T. And 5 is H. So what if I just wanted like half of it? So what is there? Probably 20 symbols here. I could say I want sentence 0, and then you use this colon here, 0 to 10. I just want half to be sentence 0 to 10, and I say print half. Now this is something very Googleable, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying, hey, take this sentence, which is this sentence, and I want position 0 all the way, I use this little colon here, all the way to 10, and then print half. Let's see what we get. This is I. So technically, this is position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 10, and it cuts it off. Now, if I said, hey, I want position 10 to, how about just the end? Well, I don't even need to put a number. I just put that colon there. You can see it starts at S and it gets this part of the sentence. So pretty cool things you can do. This is called slicing sentences. Slicing sentences. So remember, if you ever get stuck, you're a professional Googler now. So you just say how to slice sentences in Python. And you can go way, way deeper into this. Yes, I'm a real person. I'm actually just a regular old person. Taxis, these are so hard to do. And little known fact, we're actually training Google's AI every time we do that. If you want to learn how to code AI and things that do things for you and think for you, well, this is the first step. Watching this video, learn how to code. So let's see if there's anything else I want to go over in sentences. You already saw that we can set a variable to a sentence, and a sentence is simply just a string. It's just called that. And you can slice sentences. So this is actually called sentence slicing, like this. I'll delete it from here. And yeah, so here's a couple good tricks you can do with sentences. So let's keep it moving now that you know what sentences are, or really what strings are. Let me use the correct way. It's called a string. String is a sentence. Now, you remember the variables. Variables are little boxes, equal boxes to store stuff. But what if we want to store more things? There's more ways to store it. We can store it as a list. So list equals list of things to store. So a variable could be a number. So I could say num equals 56. And I could say print num, like this. And it will print 56, right? So that's a variable. What if I wanted a different variable? Well, variables can be anything. So it could be a sentence, which is a string. This is a string right here. So remember, sentence is string. But these are both variables, because anything that has a word here and then an equal sign after, that's a variable. It's just a storage box, remember? Now, if I print sentence, it prints out the sentence. Here's another cool thing you can do. You can say print sentence and num. This is a string, 56. So you can do cool things like that. You see, you can't just simply add them, because you can't add a string and a number. And this is another thing that's super intimidating, but this is what you're gonna have to work with. This is the actual error, but here you can see what the error is. Can only concatenate another weird word that's too big. I'm gonna make it smaller. Concatenate means you can't put together. Concatenate, put together. That's how I look at it, at least. Can only concatenate string, not integer. So you can't actually add a string to an integer. That's why I used the comma. But if I did want to add a string to an integer, I would have to just make this a string. This 56. Just like that. And you can see I use double quotes here instead of single quotes. It doesn't matter. But now you can see it adds it right here. This is a string because I said sentence. This is a string. And then plus the 56. It adds it literally, though. You know, everything in coding is just so literal. So you have to tell it everything. There's no space in here. If I wanted a space, I'd have to go like this. Put a space there. This is a string. Okay, so now you know you can have numbers, you can have anything as a variable. But what's a list? A list is actually a set. It's a list of things to store. So let me call this my list equals, and I could do something like, you put the brackets like that, and then I could put the number in there, comma, and I could put the sentence. And let's have this number be actually a number, not a string. So you can see it equals 56. So I could have my list equals number and sentence. And what if I print my list now? Remember, it's not going to print this stuff just right away. Like if I don't have this print here, let me mark it out. Remember, hashtag marks it out. Let me hit play. Nothing happens because there's nothing being printed. But now if I print my list, and remember, my list equals these two things, which number, and number is 56, and sentence equals this string. Well, what do you think my list is going to print now? It prints the number because we asked it to. And then it prints the string because we asked it to right here. My list equals number and string. So you can have floats, you can have integers, you can have anything in lists. I could put another string here. Hey, hey. I could put a number here, a float. Hey, hey. And look, when I print it, it prints out all of it. And these are super helpful. You might be thinking, like, what am I gonna need this for? I can just set a bunch of variables. You can, but look at this. What if I just wanted the third thing out of this list? Well, what would I do? How would I get this? Think about it for a second. Remember, we start at 0. I would just say, hey, I want the second thing out of the list because we start at 0. 0, 1, 2. And by the way, if you hover over things, it shows you the type, which is an integer. You can see the sentence, shows you the type, which is a string. But if I want the second thing or the third thing out of this list, I would have to count 0, 1, 2, and be hey, hey, print. Now, if I print it, it's just going to say hey, hey. But what if I want the last thing out of the list? I could say number 3, because remember, 0, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. So that's why lists are super important, and I highly recommend diving deeper into lists. You know, watch some more YouTube videos, ask some more questions, Google it, how to use lists. I'm gonna use it throughout this training and I'll fly through it, but this is just one of the fundamentals that you gotta know. You gotta know how to work with lists, and they're just storage boxes that you can store more stuff in. You know, if a variable is a storage box, a list is a list of storage things. Like you got the whole warehouse you can put in there. Now, the next thing is a dictionary. Dictionary like this, and it has a key and a value. So if I made a dictionary, let's call this my dictionary equals, they're in this weird format here, and you'll just have to kind of memorize this. I could say name, and then you put this colon equals moon, and then I put a comma, and I could say age equals 30. Now, the reason you have to learn how to use dictionaries is simply because everybody uses them, and a lot of data is stored here. If I want the name, I would just simply say print my dictionary at the name position. Let's see how that works. It prints out moon. So essentially there's a key, and I know this is very hard to read, like I get it, and it just takes some time to look at. That's why I just recommend just typing this down and just typing it again, changing the name, changing the age. But essentially a dictionary is just a different way to store stuff. A list is one way to store things. A dictionary is another way to store things. In my opinion, or the way I usually, when I'm writing code, I'm using lists. And when I'm like getting code from an exchange or something, this is a dictionary. Look at my bottom right real quickly. This is just like all this ugly stuff here, super intimidating. It's actually a dictionary. You can see here, if I if I were to be like, hey, I want the price, it would give me this 2250. So in our case, hey, my dictionary, I want the name, it printed out moon. And why did it print out this number up here? Because I asked it to up here in this print my list. So I'll mark it out for now. By the way, I really appreciated the person who taught me this. If I select this whole thing here, I just select it with my keyboard, and then I'm on a Mac. If I hit Command \, it marks it out. So that is Command plus \. These little keyboard shortcuts, I do them without thinking now, but if I ever don't tell you one of them, please let me know in the comment section, because these keyboard shortcuts are gonna save you hours of time, and it just really, really helps. And I wish I would have learned all the keyboard shortcuts at the start. But if you select something, then hit Command plus \, that will fully mark it out. So for example, if I select all this and I hit Command \, it marks it out. Now here, let's do another couple more things that I can teach you with the keyboard shortcuts before we jump back into dictionaries. If I'm at the back of this line, I'm here, you can see my cursor. If I hit Command Shift and then the arrow backwards, I can select the whole thing. So I'll write that down. It's Command plus Shift plus the back arrow, or like your keyboard. So it's like if you're playing a game, you up, down, right? It's left. So Command Shift left. Command Shift, and this is on Mac, so it might be different on PC, but I'm sure you can figure it out. Whatever command is on PC. So those are two little tricks I wanted to show you. Command plus Shift backwards. This will select everything, and then after I select it, I can hit Command \, or is that a /? Whatever this is. I think this is actually a /. That marks it out. So now you know those two things. So let's go ahead and jump back into dictionaries. I'll try to explain this more. Dictionaries are just a key and a value, and it's a way to store data. You saw here in the bottom right of my screen this big old dictionary. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. It is so intimidating to look at, and it's the reason I didn't learn how to code for so many years, but I wish I did, because in reality, it's not hard. Now, if I say, hey, I want my dictionary, without putting in the key, what do you think is going to print? It prints out the whole dictionary. But now, what if I go ahead and I make this dictionary bigger? Let's go ahead and say fave food, and let's say pizza, and let's say location, and let's say Earth, like that. Now if I print out the dictionary, what do you think is going to happen? It prints out all that information. But a dictionary, and again, this is just something you'll have to remember, a dictionary is just storing data. So if I want that data, well, I want the favorite food, so I just copy that, and you want the quotes as well, or you could just type it, and I want to say my dictionary, I just want the favorite food. You put the brackets, and then you paste that in there. So now I just want to print my dictionary, I want the favorite food. And it shows me pizza. But if I want the location, I can just double click that and paste it in. And I say, hey, location. I want the location, and it's Earth. Or if I want the age, I just do that. So try this with your own values, put in your own little story in here, make your own dictionary, and then let's just keep it moving. Dictionaries for me were really hard to understand at the start. I don't know if you've grasped this already. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I'm here to help. You know my mission. I'm here to help. I want to teach as many people in the world how to code, because it's the great equalizer, and it doesn't matter where you live, who you are, what color your skin is, how much money you have. As long as you have a computer and an internet connection, you can code. And I hope someday I can teach so many people how to code that I can start giving computers out to those that don't have computers, because that would just be amazing, yeah, it's just like I've thought a lot about this, how to make this game of life fair to everybody, and this is the best way I can help. So that's why I'm doing this. If you're enjoying this thus far, I appreciate you. Tap that like, and let's just keep on moving. So now you know how to store data in dictionaries and lists. What else can you do? Well, sometimes you want to do this, and sometimes you want to do that, right? Sometimes I want to say, hey, what's your name? Sometimes I want to say, what's up? So let's say that. Let's say sentence 1. And by the way, I didn't teach you this yet, but in Python, we use underscores instead of spaces. And I can say, hey, what's up? Did you catch that, by the way? In Python, instead of using spaces, you can't use spaces. They have to be connected. So if I want sentence 1, I have to put an underscore there. It doesn't have to be underscore. You could do it a different way, but this is how you do it to be a good coder, underscores. It's called snake casing, I believe. No, it's not snake casing. Snake casing is like this, snake casing. This is called Pythonic. I don't know what it's called, but use underscores to separate words. Sentence 2, and I'll just say sent 2 equals yo, yo, yo. Okay? And then I could say number 1 equals 45, and number 2 equals 56. And what I'm teaching here is if, elif, and else. Okay, so let me explain this first. An if statement is do something, if true. So if something is true, do that with the if statement, or else, which is elif, do something else. I know this probably doesn't make sense yet, don't worry. And then, so I'll say or else if, which is elif, or else, this is your final statement. So how do I explain this? So there's if, elif, and else. It's kind of like this. Okay, you gotta do your chores today in your house, right? What do you have to do to clean your house? Well, you probably have to clean the bathrooms, you have to clean the kitchen, and you have to clean the living room. No, you have to clean your bedroom. You have to clean your bedroom, you gotta clean the bathroom, and you gotta clean the kitchen. Well, if it's chore day, like for example, if you do your chores on Saturday, well, the first thing you would do, you say, oh, it's chore day, okay. Well, the first thing you would say is, well, if it's Saturday, then we do chores, right? So I could, in Python, I would say if day equals Saturday, then do chores, right? And don't worry about this code for now. It's not going to work. I just want to explain this. So if the day is Saturday, then you do your chores. Else, if it's not Saturday, just chill, right? If you do your chores on Saturday, well, if the day equals Saturday, you do your chores. Else, you just chill. Do your regular day. I'm just going to say regular day. Does that make sense? Like if you do your chores on Saturday, every Saturday, in your mind, you ask yourself, well, is it Saturday? If the day equals Saturday, we're going to do our chores. Or else, we're just going to do our regular day. Super simple, right? Well, let's give another example. Right? Your chores consist of clean bathroom, kitchen, bedroom. Right? So if it's Saturday, you do your chores. Now let's assume it's Saturday. Well, if bathroom, is dirty, clean bathroom. So you understand how you use if statements in your day-to-day life, right? If bathroom is dirty, clean bathroom. Pretty simple. But what if I say, if kitchen is dirty, then you clean the kitchen. Now, here's how the elif comes into play. This is pretty much saying, well, we're reading this, right? And I know this is intimidating. Don't worry. We're going to get through this. Just type everything I type. If kitchen dirty, well, this is a true or false. And what's a true or false? What's the weird name for it? It's called a Boolean. But what if you walk out into the kitchen, it's chore day, you're doing chores today, and if kitchen is dirty, then you clean the kitchen, but the kitchen is clean. So the kitchen is clean, I don't need to do that. So what happens here in code is you just move on to the else if. So that's pretty much saying, well, if this is not true, so is kitchen dirty? No, it's clean. It's already clean. So we'll jump on to the else if. And that's else if, what do you do when the kitchen is clean? Well, you do the else if. You just fall into here and you do the next thing. What's the next thing? Well, you would just say else if is the bedroom dirty? And yes, the bedroom's dirty. So we say clean bedroom. And I'm just doing this to illustrate how this works in your day-to-day life. If the kitchen is dirty, clean the kitchen. But if the kitchen is clean, just move on to the next thing. So else if the bedroom's dirty, we'll clean the bedroom. But what if the bedroom's clean? Well, else, let's say, pretty much if both of these, like if the bedroom is clean or the kitchen is clean, well, this is false then, because kitchen dirty? No, it's not, it's clean. Okay, so I'm gonna move on.
Right, I'm just going to pause that there, and we're going to go and see what the pro is up to over in his Zoom chat. Where we at, man? Where we at? Where's the Zoom chat gone? Where's it at? There it is. Okay, let's see what he's up to. Turn the audio off. Yo, what's going on here, man?
Recording in progress.
Okay.
So she's misting right now, and you see the project. You see this is fire, I think. I don't know. My ideas are trash, but every once in a while I get a good one. Every once in a while, it's not bad. Okay, here we go. Begin execution when login is confirmed. Okay, there we go. So I just made a better prompt because it's kind of ghetto over here on the open class side with like chatting with her. Okay, there you go.
Makes it look so easy, man.
What the hell? Wait. Did she actually get? I don't think she got this. Um, did she get this? Okay, see, this is my old message. Okay, I just sent that one as well. Got the specs starting setup. He asked me some questions. I said, no way. I said, no way. Okay, she's gonna log into my trading view. So let me get that handled. I gotta figure out what my trading view pass is. Trading view. Actually, don't know. But do I ever know? Do I ever know my passwords? No, I don't. I need to learn more about one pass. That's what I really need to do. Anybody use that and recommend it? Or like one of those services? So I'm logging in here on the page that she sent me to. So let's say sign in. Sign in. Save. Okay, she's in there, dude. Nice. Data downloaded. Oh, she downloaded data already. Sick, dude. Go. You're in. Go. You're in. Go. You're in. Go. Go step on the gas. Let's go. And make sure indicators panel logged in as okay. Clicking on editor's choice. Okay. Editor's picks here. Okay. Got editor's choice. I see 17 indicators. Let me start processing them. First, I'll check the first indicator to access its source.
Right, he's a bit too advanced for us. No API keys yet, guys. Let's go back to what we was doing. Let's go back. Leave this. Leave the meeting. Where were we? We was doing. No, that's not what we were doing. We were doing. We was doing. Close that. Close that. We were over here. Day 1. Bosh. Back here.
Dave's just used confused.com, so the thought of car insurance no longer weighs him down.
I don't want this.
Insurance feels better when you've just used Confused.
What is going on? You have just landed. Yo. Okay, and then I could say number 1 equals 45. This is false. So I would say print. And by the way, I don't know if you've noticed this. I know I kind of blew past it. They have to have a tab in here or 4 spaces. I just use tabs. Some coders like to say, hey, I only use spaces. Whatever. I don't care about that stuff. I think that a lot of coders are very, I don't want to like, what I'm trying to say is like people get stuck in their ways, and coding is no different. People get stuck in their ways and they say, hey, use 4 spaces here or a tab. Either way, it has to be in here, and a tab equals 4 spaces. So I just use tab. Whenever you're doing like an if statement, after this colon here, this colon is a mandatory, and then you hit a tab and you push it over. Now I want to show you here, what if I just did this? Or if I forgot this? I say else print, this is the failsafe. I'm making this too easy for you guys. I'm not showing any errors. So what I want to do here is I want to show an error. Let's hit play. You can see it underlines this because it says invalid syntax. And what's going on here? Well, it's because I forgot this right here. I forgot this colon. There has to be a colon after each of these. Let's try play again. And you can see this is the failsafe. So else pretty much does, it's your failsafe. If everything else is false, you then can just have an else statement and it does that. And I use these, you know, right now you might be thinking like, why do you need all this information? Why would you want to print out sentences? And like, what am I going to do with this? Like I said, I'm an algo trader. I go ahead and put my strategies into automated trading strategies and algorithms to trade for me. So I'm showing you the basics here, like with printing sentences and whatnot, but these fundamentals will allow you to do anything, including what I do. If you're interested in finance and all that good stuff, you can do this as well. You can do algo trading. You see my algo going the whole time during this video down here. So like, that's awesome, but it all comes down to knowing these fundamentals. So even if you're having a hard time right now thinking of like, hey, what am I going to use this information for? Like, what am I going to use sentences and strings for? What type of program am I going to make? Yada, yada. Don't worry about it. I'm teaching the fundamentals so then you can build anything you want to build. And the fundamentals are so important. But now you know how to use if, elif, and else statements, which is probably one of the biggest things inside of coding. So now that we know that, you also learned the operators. You learned exactly how to use the correct operators. These are all the operators here. So let me just go ahead and write this down here. Operators. I can barely even spell. So if you're worried that you have to be super smart to do this, don't. Operators are these, and remember, you use the double quotes or the double question or double equal sign if you want to check if it's true. Exclamation mark equal sign if it's not equal to, and you can see I used the equal sign here, and so on and so on. You've learned a lot so far, so I'm really proud of you. There's just a few more things I want to go over, and that's it. Like, it's not that hard, as you can see. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to jump into this next box here, and we're just going to keep on moving. Just keep going, and hey, if you're running out of time, hit the like button, subscribe, and come to this video later. But I promise you, you are so close to knowing everything you need to know in Python. And then after that, all you do is you just Google it. How to code in Python, how to do this in Python, how to use operators in Python, how to, for example, how to use if statements in Python. There's literally nothing that's not on the internet. You can see Python conditions. What I like to do sometimes is just open like 3 or 4 of these up. And just like, if you have a topic you don't know, just read these blogs. They're all there. Like, look at all of this stuff. It's all there. elif, it shows you exactly how to use else and if statements. If B is bigger than A, and A is 200, B is 33. If B is bigger than A, print this. If A equals B, print that. So it's all here. It's all on the internet, and it's really on you. Like, how much do you want to learn? How good do you want to be at this? I'm showing you all of the things you need to know, and if you can memorize everything in this video, or at least understand everything in this video, you're going to be good to go, because then you got your trusty friend Google to help you out. And please use me as well. I'm here to help you. So let's go ahead and show you the next step of this. What I want to do here is go ahead and talk about indexing. Now, you already saw here, I'll grab this example again, just so we can hammer this in. My list, remember, a list is just a list of variables or anything. You can say my list equals number, sentence, hey. Now, I already have all that. If I hit play, nothing's gonna happen. But if I hit print my list, it shows me the whole list. Now, indexing is pretty much counting. I've already taught you this, but essentially the first position is 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And you might be asking yourself, how does number work? Well, we saved it up here. Since we saved it already as num, I don't even know where it is. We've done so much. Num's right up here. So that's the cool thing about coding. You just have to save it one time. And once it's there, and you put it in your list. But indexing is just getting things out of your list or out of your sentence. You saw earlier, I got like the first letter, right? I can just say, hey, I want my list at position 1. So at position 1, I'm going to get sentence. And what is sentence? I don't even remember anymore. This is a string. But at position 2, remember, we count 0, 1, 2. What would it get? It would print, hey. So indexing is quite simple. And if you want the last thing out of a list, I wanted to show you this for sure. You can just say -1. So you can count backwards as well. So -1 would be 63 or 67.34. -2, what do you think that would be? Well, since we're counting backwards, 1, 2. And it's weird because counting forwards, you start with 0, but counting backwards, you start with -1. So that's just a weird thing. -2 is hey. What is -3? Well, let's count from the backwards, regular way. 1, 2, 3. So I'll write that down. Going forward, counting is 0, 1, 2, etc. And going backwards, counting is -1, -2, -3, and so on and so on. So definitely write that down. That's how you kind of like grab things out of a list. And the next thing I want to talk about is loops. So let's go ahead and say loops here. And there's 2 types of loops. And we'll get to that in just a second. So essentially there's while loops and there's for loops. Now, another thing you're just gonna have to memorize, the 2 types of loops, right? Not too hard. Essentially for loops, let's start with while loops. While loops they loop through something. Like for example, let's think of this for a second. Let's think of a good analogy here. While loops do something until you tell it to stop. So like, for example, if you were gonna play a video game and you're gonna play it until you're out of time. Let's say you have 2 hours. 2 hours to play video games. Well, you're actually in a while loop. You're in a while loop. You're in a while loop of playing video games until that 2 hours expires. So while 2 hours, let's say while hours under 2, play games. Makes sense, right? So while hours are under 2, like you have 2 hours to play video games, while the hours are under 2, you play. So let's go ahead and say hours equal 2. And let's say play video games. Let's just say print play video games. Now this will actually crash my computer because hours equals 2, right? So 2. And hours, is it under 2? No, it equals 2. So let's say while hours equal under 2.1, how about? So if hours equals 2, well, this will run forever, right? Because hours is equal to 2. So it's always under 2.1. So this will actually crash my computer because it'll just run forever. And you can see it says play video games, play video games, play video games, play video games. I have to manually stop it because it's just always going to go. And you can see I can barely get back up to where I was because 2 hours equals 2, remember it's a variable, is always going to be less than 2.1. And you can see it kind of crashed my computer. So since it's just running through this code one time and printing play video games, and you can see it prints it, but then it loops, and that's why it's called loops. It loops again and does it again, and it prints it again, and then it loops and does it again. And since hours is always going to be under 2.1, well, it's going to keep looping forever because that's always going to be true. So this is how you do a while loop. While loop, it starts with the word while. So while this is true, or if I could say while hours equals 2.1, play video games. What do you think is going to happen there? Nothing, because hours equals 2, and 2 is never equal to 2.1. So let's go ahead and go back to that while hours is under 2.1. But now let's reset, and this is a new thing you're learning here, is you could say hours equals plus, actually it might be plus equals, say hours, and then we'll take hours plus 0.01. So essentially we're saying while hours is under 2.1, and remember hours is 2, so while 2 is under 2.1, play video games. But then we're going and saying, hey, we're gonna add and then reassign, another weird word, reassign the hours to equal hours plus 0.01. Now this is kind of advanced, so I'm gonna mark it out for now and ignore it, but I could say this, because I want you to understand that I can say hours now equals 3. So whenever you make a variable, if you write the variable again here and say it's 3, well, the code is going to remember it as 3. And then if I wrote it again and I said it equals 56, well, the code's going to remember it 56. So the way coding works is it reads straight down. So it reads this, it says hours equals 2. Then it's like, okay, well, never mind, hours equals 3. And then it forgets about that. It's like, oh, actually, hours equals 56. So in this case, what do you think is going to happen here? While hours, which equals 2, is under 2.1, print video games. But then I say hours equals 3. So now next time it goes around, remember it loops. That's why it's called a loop. While we set hours again to 3, so it says while hours, and hours now equals 3 is under 2.1. What do you think is going to happen in this? Let's print it. So it just prints it once, right? Because we say while hours is under 2.1 and hours equals 2, then it prints play video games. But then after that, we say hours equals 3. So it loops back and it says hours is under 2.1. No, that's false. So let's go to a more advanced example here. I could say hours, you know how you can reassign them. That's like saying, hey, hours equals 2, now hours equals hours plus 0.01. And just to make it a little clearer, you can always put brackets in here. I don't know if you remember back in, or parentheses, back in math, you could put stuff in here. So now hours equals hours plus 0.01. Hours equals, sorry, that plus shouldn't be there. So hours equals hours plus 0.01. So it loops through hours equals 2, and then it equals hours plus 0.01. So it's 2.01. So that's why it prints like 10 or 11 times, because it's 2.01 plus 2.02 plus 2.03 all the way up until hours is bigger than 2.1 and it stops. Now I can show you another example. If I made this like 0.5, hours plus 0.5, what do you think is going to happen here? Well, it only prints once because it goes hours equals 2, and 2 is under 2.1, so print video games. But now hours equals hours plus 0.5, so it equals 2.5. So it loops through again and says hours is 2.5 now. Hold on. 2.5 is bigger than 2.1, so I'm done. I'm done with this while loop. So while loops loop until false. So that's a while loop. Now, if that doesn't make any sense to you, don't worry. We have trusted Google here, and half of the reason I'm teaching you this way and I'm teaching super fast is because I want this. I want to teach you everything you need to know, but I also want to teach you the most important part, which is, yes, you learn all of these weird words and Booleans and all this stuff, but the most important part is you learn that and then you learn how to Google it. Because anytime you have a question, somebody has asked it before. How to use while loops in Python. And this is a great way to learn code in general, because everybody gets stuck on different things. Like while loops were really hard for me, and all I did is I said how to use while loops in Python. I open up like 3 of these pages here and just read all of this, because it will show you exactly how this person teaches it. You saw how I taught it, but maybe this person teaches it better for you. Maybe you read better, right? Better than you watch videos. I'm a video guy, but hey, everybody learns differently, and there's just so many resources online. So that's how while loops work. And for loops will just do a condition until you tell it to stop. So this is a little confusing, to be honest. So I'm going to try to explain it as good as possible. Let's say X equals a list of 23, 45, and hey there. So this list consists, let's make this a float. This list consists of a float, if I can type, a float, an integer, and a string. Let's go ahead and let's get rid of this just so we don't need to look at it. But for loops, loop until a condition is fulfilled. So I could say, and this is tricky to comprehend in your mind. So you just have to do it a bunch. And I recommend watching this part over again and putting in your own information so you can see how it works. I can put for y in x, and remember x is this, print y. Now this took me so long to figure out or to understand. For y and x, print x. Now let's make this a little easier. Let's call this listy. So for y in listy, print y. So this y can be anything. Now that's super weird because coding is super specific thus far, and you see it. You see, like, when we do something wrong, there's an error. But this, when you're using for loops, the first word can be anything. The first word after for can be anything. So you can see I put for here, and then this can be a random thing. That's why I just put y. I could put like zzz. I can say for zzz in listy, print zzz, or just one time. And then it will print all of this, because it's essentially taking whatever you put here and it's saying, hey, the first time through this loop, remember we're just looping through, the first time we're gonna make zzz equal that. The second time we do it, we make zzz equal that. And then the third time we make it equal that. And you can see it prints it out like that. 23 the first time, and then it's 45, and then it's hey there. So this is confusing. It's hard to comprehend, but you have to play with it yourself for a while. And don't worry, I'll dive into this deeper. But this, after the for, can be set to anything, and then it can loop through lists or dictionaries and so on. But you just have to know overall that this could be hey, for hey, print hey. And then if I print it, these things don't matter. The only thing that matters is what list are you looping through? And the list is this, or it could be a dictionary or whatever. And I believe you can also do like for x in range of 10, print x, see what happens there. You can see, you can use this little function here saying for x. So these are important. The for and the in. It's saying, hey, do a for loop for whatever this can be anything. In this list, in this case, for this one, and it prints out these three things. But in this case, we're calling something extra. Like, hey, if I want, instead of having to print out 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to 9, let me say for range in 10. Now, if you want to 10, you have to go to 11. Another weird coding thing. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, to make it a little more clear, I'll mark this one out. You can see for x, or I could say for whatever. It could be anything. That can be anything. Hard to understand, but it's just is what it is. For in range of 100 and, like, what if you wanted all these numbers? Like, that's a lot of numbers. Well, you use a for loop. Print it out, and you can see it prints out all those numbers. Pretty cool, right? So that's how you use while loops and for loops. Brief overview, but remember how to use for loops. And there's so many different opinions on how to use them and videos, and it's just all here. What I'm trying to do is give you the skeleton and show you exactly how to use them. And then if you want to learn more, you can do that by using Google. The number one key in coding is to be a good Googler. That's why I keep showing Google. I keep telling you that joke that you're becoming a professional Googler, but I already know you're a professional Googler. You're here on YouTube, and YouTube is pretty much the new Google. So there's so much stuff on Google, and you will absolutely crush it as long as you're persistent. So now you know while loops go forever until something's false, and for loops just go through a range or until you say stop. So let's jump on down here, past all of this stuff, and let's hit another block. And in this block, we're going to go over functions. Now, what are functions? Functions are essentially, how do I want to explain this? You know how variables are like a shoebox? You can store anything. You know you have lists, you have variables, you have lists, you have dictionaries. These are all different ways of storing things. But what if you wanted to store, like, for example, you have a storage unit, right? And in that storage unit, you have like 20 boxes. You have like 20 variables, which are just boxes of data. You have like 6 lists. You've got like 10 dictionaries. Well, you can store them all in a function. And to create a function, you just say storage unit. Let's call it, this is what we're calling it. And then you do that. So that's the syntax to doing that. You put def equals function, use def for a function, then the name of func with that. Use these double parentheses and this colon. And you say def, and then I could say, hey, let's do shoes equal a string. I'm gonna call them Jordans. Game equals Zelda. Age equals 27. What else do we want to put in here? We've got a flow. Let's do a flow. GPA equals 2.780, and so on and so on. And now you have a storage unit for all of your different things, all your different variables. What if I wanted a list? Let's say my list equals shoes, game. Oh, sorry. You got to put this thing. Shoes, game, age, and I want a different sentence. Let's say, hey there. And you can see it underlines. So when you get an error, it underlines it. And do you see why it's an error? It's because I don't have a variable named games. I have a variable named game. So I need to change that. And then look at this. What's going to happen if I print this out or if I hit play? Absolutely nothing. In the background, you did say, hey, computer, this is my storage unit. But if you want to run this storage unit, you actually have to go like this. So like that. So let me hit that now, and it's going to run storage unit. But guess what? It still doesn't do anything because we're not telling it to do anything. So look at this. Now if I go, what if inside of my storage unit, I can say print my list. Let's print my list. And this should print all this stuff, right? So if I hit play, what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens because I didn't call the storage unit. So I have to take this storage unit and paste it right there. And now it should print out my list because inside of my storage unit, I have all these variables, this string, age, which is a integer, and GPA, which is a float. I have all that, and then I put it into a list, and then I ask it to print my list. But I just said now actually run the storage unit. Before it was like, hey computer, remember everything in my storage unit. I run it, it shows nothing because I'm just saying remember it. But here I'm saying actually run it. Don't just remember it, run it. And now it prints out my list because I told it to print out my list. Pretty simple. I mean, if you have any questions, please do let me know. Now, one more thing you want to know about functions here. Actually, a couple things. Let's go ahead and say return. And let's say shoes. Let's just say shoes and then my list. So essentially what this is doing, and just write it down if it doesn't make sense. You practice makes perfect with this type of stuff. So I'm going to delete print my list and let's run it again. And you can see storage unit, it works here because we're using this IDE is what they call it. We're using Google Colab, but it won't work in the future. Long story short, we're printing this. We're not printing anything. So this is almost kind of fake that it's printing this. But if I wanted to get only the shoes, I returned the shoes and I returned my list. So if I wanted the shoes, I could say shoes equals storage unit and then at this position, 0. And then I could say print shoes. And it shows me Jordans. But if I want to say, hey, I want the list, my list here, you return it and it's at the position 1, because remember we go 0, 1, And then I could say print my list like this. And it will print my whole list. But remember, you can do like, hey, I only want my list at the last position, so -1. So I would just get hey there. Or if I want the position -2, you could just say, hey, -2. And now I know we're getting super advanced, so don't worry about it. If this doesn't make sense, just do it again. Go ahead and read more about functions. But this is the kind of overview of how to use functions. You now know how to return information out of functions, and returning allows you to use it. So it allows use in other parts of the code. So you just saw, I said, hey, my list is the first item, 0, 1, in this function. So I can set my list to this function at place 1. And then since my list is this, I could also say, hey, I only want the age out of that. Now just play around with it. Try to plug in your own words and variables, and that will really help you understand this better. Now I'm going to show you something that comes with functions, or is part of functions. A very, very big part of functions that took me a very long time to really understand. So don't worry if you don't understand this part right away. Hey, you might be able to pick it up quickly. It doesn't matter. Just watch, learn, and watch again, and play with your own variables and all that good stuff, and it will really start to come to you over time. So what I want to do is I want to pass in information into a function. I highly recommend studying this part on Google, how to pass in information into a function. I would Google that, and I would read 3 or 4 blogs about it. This was very hard for me to understand, but it's so important. I don't want to intimidate you here either. It's really not that hard, but let's say we have a function and we say def, because in order to make a function just like this, we say def and then we put the function. Let's call this passing, and then let's make a variable called car equals Toyota. Sorry, again, I'm a little dyslexic. And let's say number equals 67. Okay, so I can print car, and what's going to happen here? Look at the function and what I told you before. Let's print car. Nothing's going to happen because I didn't call it. So I have to go ahead and call it like this, and then it will work. So what I want to show you now is what you're going to see a lot. It could say car like this. You pass in car like that. And now when I call the function, watch what happens. I'm actually going to delete this because we don't want the car. We'll pass in the car. And watch this. Passing, I try to run the function now. Well, I'll keep the car for now just to keep it simple. I try to run it and it should print out Toyota, right? But look, it underlines my thing. And it says missing one required positional argument. So one required positional argument. What the heck does that mean? To me, that still doesn't make sense. Like argument. Why do we have to use argument for that? I don't know. But that's what they use. That's what we use as coders. So as you can see, it says this function is called passing, and it says car right here. So essentially, I need to pass in, and how do I pass in something? I pass it in by putting it in here. So I could say like BMW. And I'm just for example, I'm going to remove this, but now it says run the passing function and have this be the car. So now it should print out the car, BMW, because I'm running this function. It's asking here for a car type, and we're passing it in the car type. Now, a good way to show this example is I'll remove car from here, and remember, when coding, it reads top down. So it reads in car equals Toyota, okay? So def passing car means we're saying a function called passing, and it passes in the car, and then the number 67. Now, if I say car, if I put here like this, essentially what it's going to do is if you don't pass in this BMW here like this, it's going to set car to car, and car is set up here. So it should print Toyota. I trust me, you got to play with this yourself and put in your own stuff, because to me, this was super hard to understand. But once you understand this, you really, really understand coding. So, for example, this says, this is a function, right? And we know it's a function because it says def, and then this is the name of the function. And then if you ever see this, this means, hey, I need to pass something in. What the heck is passing in? Well, down here, you can see I run the function and I don't pass anything in. Since I don't,
Okay, let's pause it there. Let's pause it there at 2:04. Let's go check and see what big guy's doing. Oh, where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at, man? Let's go see what the big one's doing. Back over here. Let's see if we can't get you guys an API for the
local, I've got local and cloud Llama models working on OpenClaw, really. Okay. Through Olama, is it working well? Ash?
we need to be here.
Like, is it working, or is it? Thank you for
Recording
the
in
inspiration, both of you.
progress.
It's working. It's working. So I'm gonna spend some more time on that someday. Spend more time here so I don't chew up my tokens. Okay. DeepSeek GLM and testing Kimmy today. Okay.
Let's see if we can't. Let's see if we can't ask him for an API key.
Dun, dun, dun. Where's Quant app at? Right here. I want to think through how we're going to go ahead and build a back tester out here. So I want to go ahead and you should have Git access to this GitHub. Okay. In this GitHub, I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. But if we get on the treadmill together, right? There's two things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. It's really that simple. Yo, trading view. All right, you should have Git access to everything. Like you're already, maybe you're not in this GitHub right now. You are in a different GitHub, but you could have access to this GitHub and this folder specifically. You can see within this folder, there's actually a folder that is growing and it will grow over time. And it's called backtest. Okay. So, and then you also have the data folder. Those are the two folders that matter. And in that backtest folder here, you're going to have a bunch of templates that we're going to have a new tab on Quant app that's called backtester. So it will be trade, code, then backtester, then data. And anyways, you'll see there's plenty of examples here. And we can use a project system similar to how we do on the code page. Actually, there will be a default project. And on that code page, the default project is going to have those backtest, a backtest folder. So everybody that logs into the code tab has backtests already loaded. These are going to be the templates that they can use at any time. They click that folder, they can be in that folder on the coding page, and they can fuck that. Let's not bring anything to do. Let's not do anything with the coding page. This will be a total separate page. It'll be called backtester, and it will be similar to the projects column on the coding page. We'll actually bring that whole thing over so we can see the near lick, short lick too. We'll use that same kind of setup here, but these will be projects that they're going to be backtesting on. And the main project that will be in there for now is backtests. And underneath that backtest, we'll have all of these different files that are in the backtest folder. And it's going to be, these are going to continuously grow. Anyways, what we're going to do here is use that backtesting.py library here, and it prints out the stats. We're going to have some sort of display for the stats. Essentially, we're building a backtester into this new tab on Quant app. And there will be some really nice visuals of the stats. And there will be, when they click one of those backtesting files, it will load up the actual code and then have a big button that says run backtest, a big green button that says run backtest at maybe the bottom of the code. And they click that. And then on the right side of the panel, there's plenty of room to have a 3-panel section here. Like first section is the projects tab, kind of like on the code, small, short, thin. And then the code section will be, wider, and it will load in whatever backtest is in there. So I'll always constantly have to grab from this GitHub. I don't, you could let's just start. I don't know. You tell me. We'll think this through, and we're kind of planning right now. So ask me any questions. But I don't know if you could autonomously do that without exposing my key. So I don't think we're going to do that because, again, this is an Electron app people will download. And I think the only way to get the new Python test out of the backtesting folder would be to call it, right? I don't know. Talk to me about that. But if we can autonomously add them there, that's cool. But I think that would actually make it too bloated. So let's go ahead and start this way where you just add these templates there. And we may change them in the future. These are just pick 5 of them to make this starting project. I would actually like to give you backtests that are better than these to have. So kind of just grab these for now, grab a few from that now. And essentially, they'll be able to also create new backtest, have a button in the projects tab, This will be like more attractive button, like green. It's something that catches their eye a little bit. Create new backtests. And what it will do is it will create a backtest with this exact backtesting.py template and where they put their actual strategy is like pointed out with hashtags, like put your strategy here. Because these are all templates. Like backtesting.py is just a template. It's just you just have to put your strategy in, right? So you can see that from the 5 or so that you grab from here. But yeah, that's the project. I want to build a backtester into the Moondev app, and we'll have these templates. Pick 5 of them as the templates, and they can change the templates. If they do make a change to the code, it creates a new file. No, 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 that's overthinking it. Yeah, they have these templates and we'll add different templates later. I just wanted to give you access to these and it will allow them to change the code in line as they want. Okay, this is crazy. So that's the vision. We're gonna have 3 different bars. We're gonna have the projects bar similar to the code section. This will have the preloaded backtest template. They can add more projects there if they want, but these projects are simply created with a backtesting template, just like one of these. It's just a new file, and they can name it whatever they want. So it's not like the path we have on the coding page. It's just going to be code, 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 and they can click the button and run the code. And the stats that come out, instead of showing it in the terminal, we're going to print out the backtesting stats. It's like 20 different metrics from backtesting.py. Just print that out in the third panel. So it's really nice. Don't hold back on design. Make it fun. You know, our coding page is fun. I want to keep this fun as well. It's got to look good. Don't hold back on design. Let me know your questions you have in building this out. Thank you. Can you look into my stat.r projects here? I think it's in the Jan folder. It might be February folder now. We have like Copula, we got Four-Leg, we got Gaussian, we got 4 different bots, and then regular too. I essentially want you to go ahead and see, have they been making trades the last couple of days? And how are they doing overall? The starting amounts for each of them, last time I checked, I can give those to you here in a second. But answer that question first. Have they been making trades over the past 2 days? I think they might have got jammed up here. Island life, dude. This is why I gotta deploy to servers. Island life. Island life. Seems like the market just opened here, so can you go ahead and sync up with the newest GitHub here? There was some new stuff pushed by Clawbot. And then tell me what you downloaded. Actually, go ahead and first tell me what is different from the live version. And so I can just approve that we want to sync up to that version. I think it should be Gucci. Just tell me the folders and files that have been added. Thanks. So we did implement this to the copy trader. Good, good, good. We got some liquidations coming through. Let's see what's going on, dude. Okay, okay. Some Morty lickies. Some Morty lickies. Because it's 1040 now. You can see MicroStrategy, Amazon, um, Tesla, NVIDIA. Okay, that was fun, dude. That was fun. That was a fun little check-in. Let's lock in. So she's looking at, okay, bottom line, Gaussian and T Copula, Just came back online today. I knew that. Still dead in water. Damn, dude. So what's the other one dead in water, she said? Regular 2 is Gucci. I don't want that. I got a regular 1 is Gucci, I mean. 4 leg. Oh, it's Gucci. So 4 leg, regular 2, and regular have been stuck the longest. Regular is off. Okay, we're Gucci there. She's still exploring this Quant app one. Okay. So here's the breakdown of what Claudebot pushed Moondev. Agents open Claude. Open Claude. Root level. What is this? We don't want that.
I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. But if we get on the treadmill together, right? There's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. It's really that simple.
Let's sync up, dude. Let's sync up. Let's sync up, dude. Let's sync up. Let's sync up, dude. Let's sync up. Trade execute arb dot. Okay. So this is a stat arb down here at the bottom. Actually, I got 4 of them running. Just incubating, of course. Gotta start small. All synced up. Beautiful. Pulled 85 files. Let's get it. So she's still exploring. This is my main thing. My main thing. My main thing right here. So I'm excited about this project. It's a massive, massive undertaking. Massive, massive undertaking. But that's okay. We got massive, massive size over here. Let's get it. Got AI cooking all day. All day, all day. Hey, can you check out my 15-minute lag arb bot and tell me about how I could adapt that to the 1 hour? It should be under course, I believe. And go ahead and figure out how to get the 1 hour markets. Actually, I'll just go ahead and help you out here. And then try to adjust that bot here for the 1 hour. So let's go here to Poly Market and crypto. And let's do an ETH, copy link address. ETH here. Copy link address here. And in reality, I want to build a different approach to this. Essentially, I want to do like a stink bid here. So I want you to find the average price of that 1 hour. And I want to, okay, no. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to go ahead and do a liquidation momentum strategy here. So when liquidations hit on the 1 hour, on BTC or ETH, liquidations period. We're going to take it on both sides. Actually, let's focus straight on BTC for now. Let's do BTC for version 1. Okay, so when liquidations hit, say 50K of liquidations of BTC specifically, then we want to go ahead and smash. If it's like if it's long liquidations, we're going to assume there's going to be continuation. If there's short liquidations, we're going to assume that there's going to be continuation upwards. Long liquidations downwards. So once we see the 25,000 in BTC liquidations, we will bet that the price will finish down on the poly market. And then same thing if we see liquidations to the upside, short liquidations, whatever the time the bet's going on, we will bet that it's going to be an over up by the end of the time. Does that make sense? Okay. I think it does. And then you can also see here how to call the Moondev API in order to get the liquidation data in the past. I have this other bot here, and it should be lick_mm in this Git directory, and you'll be able to see exactly how a liquidation momentum type strategy works, but you'll apply it to poly market because it's safer, really. So I got a liquidation momentum. I think it's called, no, I know it's called, I'll tell you what it is. It's called liquidation MM. No. It's actually called hyper momentum and liquidation accelerator. Send me the full path to both of those. The full path. I'm sending it to another AI so she can investigate. And she's still thinking about the questions she's going to ask me up there. So that's far. I'm going to get those full paths here and then I'm going to send it to her. I got this poly market bot I want to build real quick. Don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Step on the gas. Figure out how to do it for yourself, gang. I'm out of cash again. Look, this worked though. Remember I ran up the bill? Hyper momentum. Okay. Liquidation accelerated. Okay. Here are all your examples, little shorty. Thank you. Excuse me. These are your examples. What's going on? Come on, Flo. Whisper. Jeez, she goes slow sometimes. We're not here for that. We're not here for the slow. We're here for the fast. Wait, hold up. And then when calling the key for Moondev API, don't show it on my screen, but explore those docs to see how they call it. Grab the ENV, grab the key there from that ENV and post it in this ENV for the Moondev API specifically, but don't show it in the terminal, please. I'm pushing it. I'm pulling it off this. I'm pulling it off screen. I'm not showing you my ENV. I'm sorry, gang. I'm not. Okay, let's run it. And then let's hit that eye icon. Boom, dude. Ha ha. He's locked, bro. He's locked. He's locked, dude. Oh, the eye icon is nice. That is needed here. Yes, dude. Lock in. Build what you need. Step on the gas. Great. I have a comprehensive info about both explorations and the implementation plan. Let me verify a few critical code locations before finalizing the plan. He's locked, dude. Are you locked? I'm locked. I'm locked. Can you get a quant key? Yes. I'm gonna put the thing in the chat. Agent Zero, I've never used it. How you like it? Photosynthesizing. While she takes her sweet ass time, I'm gonna get some water, take a piss. I'll be back in 3, 5, 7. Take some time, bro. Lock in. What's up, bro? Nah, that shit's a lot. That shit was a lie, bro. I got your bitch ass. Cruz. He says, "Hey, I was told that I would be able to get access to a free API key, free Quant app, and all the replays. Is that true? I put it on the website. Just gotcha, bro. Gotcha. I put it on the website here. You get all this free stuff. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thanks for taking the bait, dude. Just put it on the website. That'd be so whack of me. Imagine a world. Imagine a world. Imagine a world where I put 4 freebies and I say it's a $4,850 value. And then you get in here and I'm like, psych. You don't get that. Hey, welcome to my world though. That's fun. That would be crazy, bro. Welcome in. Good to meet you, Cruz. And I look forward to seeing a 777 in the chat someday. Just means peace and love. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead here and keep it pushing because I think she should be done. Let's go on. That was pretty slick. That was pretty slick. Okay, so everything is working perfectly, Moondev. Here's a summary of what I built. Make momentum. Okay, what it does. Monitor BTC positions. We have Moondev LPI. Targets polymarket 1 hour BTC up down. We've RI. 15 minutes, saying the duration, 15 minutes. Okay. Okay. So that's just done. So that is done. So I'm pretty sure I can just
Don't run with the pack. If everyone's trying to solve the same problem, all hope of people, that's the latest and greatest thing to do. Don't do that. Do something original. Don't follow the pack.
don't follow the pack. Okay, I think I'm gonna put it over here around my other bots, polymarket bots. Okay, and then I'm gonna say T for T flow. And then Python CD. CD dot dot. CD dot dot. Where we at with it? Lock in. Lock in. What is this opt thing? Lock in. Lock in. Get it running. I was looking it up. Found the market. Executing buy already, dude. Chill, chill. Okay, that's fine. $1. Not bad at all. Okay, so let me try it out. And then I'll just run it for a while. Easy, dude. It's getting easier. It's AI. Just sipping coffee. Lick signal squeeze. Short liquidation signal. Short liquidation is 88,000. And I want to make sure. I want to update this. Can you make sure to filter out the data to be off of the last 1 minute of liquidations? I know the API call will give you 10 minutes or whatever, but I think it gives you date time, right? So yeah, does it? Maybe it doesn't actually. Maybe it's giving you just the 10 minutes should be fine if it's just giving us the data for 10 minutes. If we're running this every 10 seconds or something, you see what I'm saying? Because then we'll be able to catch it right when it happens. And then we need to make sure that after we've traded the market before, we don't retrade it. Well, that shouldn't happen anyways because we're holding the expiry. So never mind. But make that update. See what Shorty said. Big project here. Moondev wants a backtester tab in the Quant app that provides an integrated Python backtesting environment using backtesting.py library. This replaces the current backtest mini tab. I don't want it to do that, but yeah, that's fine. Fuck it. Kill it. Mm-hmm. GM, guys, Josh. Where you from, bro? Good to meet you. Architecture overview here. Okay. Project over here, code. Yep, that's exactly what we want. Beautiful stats. Yes. Backtester.js. Dude, she's cooking already. I can tell. I don't even need to look at this. I don't even need to read all this slop. She's so far ahead of me. I can't even catch up at this point. So I'm just gonna sit back, relax. I'm sitting down now. I probably sit down 1% at a time, but I'm really locking in today because I got 18 AI in front of me. And I literally have unlimited ideas. So let's just cook. I'm eating mangoes right now. Are you kidding me? So down bad. Still got nothing in the fridge. I'm eating mangoes. I can't even make my smoothie, dude. I only use Claude Code. Yes. I'm a Claude guy. I'm a Claude guy. Don't mess with other AIs. They're all silly to me. I'm a full Claude. No, actually, you know what? That's cap. I did set up my codex yesterday because I see that I'm approaching limits on Claude Code. Probably because this motherfucker over here. She has 116 tests done so far. Grinder is grinding. So let's go ahead and say this here. Can you switch the model to Haiku? I'm back testing Sonnet. That because I think for back testing, the other one is overkill. I'm at 86% of my weekly, bro. I'm cooked. I'm at 80% of my weekly, 86. I'm done. What do I do for the rest of the week? How's Codex? Real talk. Anybody locked here? California? Okay, you from Cali? Codex. Anybody have thoughts on it? Is it fire? 5.3 is fire. How do you get it? Do you have to be like you just pay $20 or do you have to pay the 200 or Yeah, how do you get 5.3? It's fire. It's fire. 20 for fire like that? For real? Shit, dude. I'm switching right now. Well, no, I'm not gonna switch right now, but I have it in this tab here, I think. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I don't, but I think it's that easy. Codex. I just go Codex. I'm in there. But how do you get to 5.3? Because I'm only on 5.2. Model, maybe? Oh, okay. 5.3 Codex. Reasoning? Which one do you use? High, extra high, medium, default? I probably should stay with medium. Do you ever run out, Alex? Do you ever run out of credits or anything? Depends on the task. Okay. So you're switching it. Yo, I know Art is also using this. I think a lot of people are using Codex. Are you guys, is anybody else using Codex? Is it fire? It has unlimited for the last couple of days. Oh, oh, how is it usually? Like, how many hours are you able to get out of it for this $20 plan? Because this is a deal. I'll switch sides. I'll switch right back. I'll switch right back. It's been unlimited. That's interesting. Whatever's the most fire. Whatever's the most fire. I don't care. I'm not loyal to any of these AIs. Sorry. I was an open AI guy. Now I'm a Claude guy. 10 minutes, I might be an open AI guy again. I don't care. I'm a Python guy, but then I'm a Rust guy. So she's absolutely cooking right now. And I'm eating mango. I want to look into this. This is interesting to me. I love you guys. Your guys' ideas are so fire. This guy said that, here, I'll just explain it. So this guy in chat said that I'm an AI and I'm running this. What is this? And how could I become an AI? That'd be fire. Because I've been looking into that for my entire, not my whole life, but ever since I started coding. Like, my goal is to make 1,000,000 memes. That's such a big headed thing to do. Jesus Christ, dude.
Damn, anything you can think is real. And if it's not, we could create it. See, that's the gift we were given to evolve, advance, create. I create my own world.
I clear my own well. Let me get an update. I'm a Clawbot. Clawbot. Witwat. All right, I think we're Gucci. I switched to Sonet just to simmer down a little bit. So I found a couple winners. Nothing crazy though. 13%, 14%. Cool. It's fire though. It's fire. It's just fire. Codex sounds like it's fire. I do want to learn about this really quickly. XTTS V2 is text to speech AI model made by Koki AI. It's one of the most popular open source voice cloning synthesis models out there. What it does, takes text and converts it to speech that sounds like a real person, can clone any voice from just a short audio, support to multiple languages. So what the person meant is they're saying they use XTTS V2 to generate an AI voice. Basically, they clone their own voice And now the AI speaks for them in chat streams. They're not literally an AI, they're just using AI generated voice. How you could set it up, Moondev, install it, record a voice sample, clone your voice, generate speech, send it. Yeah, but what are your thoughts on that versus shit, I can't think of the name, but it's an AI voice company. 11 Labs. How do they compare? So all done. Here's a summary of everything implemented. Moondev backtester tab. All right, dude. Please, for on the back end for the wherever you're doing this project, go ahead and have a .md to explain exactly what you've done so far, so that if you lose your memory, you'll be able to know exactly where you're at. Because I'm about to restart the app that you're actually coding in. Okay, so I'm actually here able to use codecs as well. That's fire. So let's read through this really quickly. You're thinking of 11 Labs, yes. It's paid. Voice quality is arguably the best in the game right now. Super easy to use, just upload a voice. Has a polished API, so easy to integrate into bots or apps. Supports voice cloning, text to speech, and even real time. Downside costs money, usage based pricing. Great for production use, content creation. Open source, runs locally on your own machine. Voice quality is solid, but a step below 11 Labs in most comparisons. Top tier. Okay, well, I don't really want to do that right now. So that's like cool, fun little make movies and stuff, I guess. I don't know. What do you do with like a cloned voice? Two memory files are now there for memory. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if she cooked. So I'm done with this project here. The polymarket trading bots. I already launched the bot. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Here you go, Moondive. The full paths. Okay, I'm good there. This is the problem. I'm building Quant app inside of Quant app now. From inside of Quant app, I'm building Quant app. So I have to reset all this. I haven't thought this through. I just built it yesterday. This is too fun, man. I love this game. This shit better than Zelda, bro. Okay, so I think I can just reset it then. I'm just gonna close it. Okay. And then I have to figure out how to open it back up. I'm just kidding. I have it right here. Can you go ahead and launch the app? Thanks, gang. I ain't mad at you. I got nothing but love for you. I'm not gonna build it inside of this anymore because I'm gonna reset it. Yeah, drop all the purple hues here from the back tester. It should be called back test. Back test is fine. Back test is fine. But drop all the purple hues from here. Also put it as the third tab, trade code backtest. Got to get rid of all the purple though. Also, our code needs to be colorified. It needs to be fun. It needs to look like not so black and white. Yeah, colorified. You know how they do it with all the brackets and stuff. Come on, make it fun.
API keys, API keys. Yeah.
And then I get these errors on all of the backtests. The run backtest button should be green. Absolutely.
Thanks, Moondev.
Absolutely should be green. Okay, let's just play around with it. New backtest. Okay. Moondev's backtest or new strategy. Add this template to create your backtest. Make sure you have pip install, Y-Finance, pandas. Oh, I don't want that. I need that to be installed automatically with the app or whatever. That should be part of the app, gang. Come on, lock in.
So I'm going to open VS Code. There we go.
I'm liking this though. I like the idea.
Folder,
I like the idea.
Open folder. Desktop. Quant app. There, create a new file. We'll call it QA underscore. Remember, you've got to go under. You cannot use it all in one word. You've got to use that underscore app. Quant app underscore API.
Yeah, I don't care how good you are on anything. You don't have discipline. You ain't
Nobody.
right.
You're nothing. You're nothing.
I struggle with it. 100%. With discipline and do
Oh,
what you hate to do, but do it like you love it. Doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it. That is a great quote. And if you can do that, you can be successful in anything. You normally are.
You normally are.
Brackets.
You normally are. I love this game, bro. Come on, lock in. It's time now.
Bosh. Go there, file. Save. There you go.
I should have set up some teams for this. Let's see what she says here. She's just cooking. She's just cooking away. Another day, just cook it away. Cook it away. Let's go to the back test. Okay, there we go. Now we're having some fun. Pip install nothing. Get it in there for me, B. Moondev is crunching the numbers. Gang. Okay, so what I want you to do here, that's my bad. Okay. Yes, I got this, dude. I got this. I'm gonna cook something so sick up, you're gonna lose your mind. Okay? Delete the data tab. Delete the data tab.
Okay, back here. Day 1. Where was we, guys? 205.
Dave's just used confused.com, so the thought of car insurance no longer weighs him down.
I don't want this.
Insurance feels better when you've just used confused.
I wanted the word cuppa, as in cup of tea, I thought would be great to mix with hug. When I saw the domain was available.
What is going on? You have just landed on the one-stop shop on exactly how to code. If you watch this entire video, you are going to learn how to code car equals car.
Glenn's just used confused.com and doesn't have the thought of car insurance weighing him down anymore.
Can't believe we're getting married.
You're not getting married.
Insurance feels better when you've just used confused.
I wanted the word cuppa, as in cup of tea, I thought would be great to mix with hug. When I saw the domain was available.
That means there's a default value. So if argument, I'm going to use the word, but I don't like it.
Okay, so you've got the Quant app keys. There you go. Found them for you. Now let's get back to the coding, yeah? Tomorrow we'll actually start. The next part will be actually typing something, okay? Let's get this, guys. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. This is the way forward.
Has an equals, then there's a default. So write that down real quick. Car equals car. If the argument has an equals, then there is a default, and it's not needed to pass something in. I think you should pass something in, absolutely, but it's not required. And let me illustrate this. If there isn't an equals, look at this. Def car, it's saying, hey, pretty much you have to pass something in or else this function is not going to work. So right now I'm passing something in, so it should work. It should be Lambda, right? But now it's going to yell at me if I don't pass something in. So passing, since the car does not equal something, that means there's no default value. Shows an error. And what's that error? Passing, missing one required positional argument. Now, what I like to do when I can't figure something out, I just copy this whole thing right here, and guess where I go? Because I'm a professional Googler, and I'll just type in Python with it, and it will show me exactly the answer. You can also type in Stack Overflow, but again, like this shows you the answer on Stack Overflow. I can't get past this error, yada yada, and it will just tell you the answer. So it's like, okay, if coding is a big old test, guess what? All of the answers are on the internet. So if it shows car with no equal sign, you absolutely have to do it. So I'm gonna put like, what kind of car can we think of here? Let's do a Honda. And now it will work because I'm passing it in. So play with this, use your own, create some of your own functions, create some of your own passing in of things. This was hard for me to do, but now you know how to return inside of functions so you can use them later. And if you're confused on any of this, there's so much on Google to keep learning. You know how to pass in things into a function, and you know how to create functions now. So you can create as many functions as you want, and they're just super simple to make. This is a func. And you just have to use the double parentheses with that little guy, and then you can put anything in here. Hey equals hi, or whatever, and they're saved forever. So functions are one of the bigger parts of coding. I would say functions, if statements that you already learned about. So you're absolutely crushing it, and I am so proud of you because most people just give up because it's a little hard. It is hard, but it's not impossible as long as you're persistent. And now you really know how to code. And I want to show you one last section, and this is advanced. Like, this is going to, like, if you're here and you've gotten to this point, you know everything you need to know in order to code. Now, I'm an algo trader, so I had to learn some other things. Now, you know, like Google Sheets and what is the other one? Excel? Google Sheets and Excel. Like, that would be super nice to be able to use them in Python. So there's this package, and if you remember, a package or a module, I tried to explain this earlier, but essentially these are just like little apps that other developers make, and then we can use them, which is so amazing because like all the really hard stuff in coding is already done, and we just go ahead and say import pandas, just like that. Now I can say import pandas as PD, so I don't have to type out pandas every time. And this is pretty much saying, hey, get that app that's called pandas and let me use it by typing PD. So get app called pandas and let me
Yeah, guys, like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
use it by typing PD. If I run this, that's all. It imported it. Now we can use pandas. Pandas is essentially, pandas equals a Google Sheet or Excel. And did you catch what I did here with this equal sign? Since this is not, I'm not saying a variable, this is not actually code, but even now when I think, I use double quotes when I'm saying something's true or false. Like, I'm just checking. I'm not setting a variable. When you set a variable, you use single equals. When you're checking if something's true or false, you use double equals. So I just thought I would use that there just to show you that, like, this is going to leak over into your normal life. Like, now when I'm just like on the whiteboard or thinking of ideas, I use double equals when I'm like, hey, this is the fact. Like, pandas equals Google Sheets or Excel, right? So this is how you import pandas, and pandas is pretty much just a package or a module or an app. Some super smart developer built something that we can now use. And that's why coding's so amazing, is because you just need to figure out what you want to build. For me, it's trading algorithms. I like to trade 24/7, 365 without having to look at the screen. You've been watching my bot down here that's done really well over the past couple weeks, 13% over the last 2 weeks, which is awesome. And I don't even look at the screen. Like, I'm here teaching you how to code. And it's over there making me money. So a lot of this code is imports. You can see, let's go through this really quickly. You can see I'm importing this package. I'm importing this package. I'm importing all of these packages. And they're just essentially little apps that people smarter than me built, and then you just import them. So now I want to show you how to use pandas. What I want to do, and since this is like a Google Sheet, I'm going to show you how I use it. Let's go over here. Let's type in Bitcoin price, Yahoo Finance. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the historical data, which is pretty much just data of the Bitcoin price. Let's get it for the max time it will give us. Looks like 2014. I click apply here and I click download. So you can think of this like I use pandas for my, accounting, my taxes, pretty much everything you would use Excel for, you can use pandas. And this is the last thing I'm going to teach you in this video training, because then you're going to be set up to really crush it as a developer. And if you want to become an algo trader, I can absolutely help you with that as well, or whatever you want to do. But pandas is super, super powerful. So what I want to do is I want to open this little sidebar up here, and I want to grab that file I just downloaded, and I'm going to paste it in here. Or actually, on the Files tab, it's actually down here. So let me go ahead and pull it in one more time. And I'm going to paste it in right there. And it just says, hey, when you leave this, it's going to be deleted. So I'm showing you how to code on Google because it's super easy. but you actually would code somewhere else usually. And I use Visual Studio Code, which I'll actually get to here at the end of this video. Because I definitely want to show you around there as well. You can see my code right here down in the bottom right. This is a live trading bot that is trading crypto for me 24/7. I'm not using Google Colab for this, but this just takes a few more settings to set up, and I can definitely show you how to do this. Just comment Visual Studio Code below, and I'll show you how to set up all your coding on here for future coding and all that good stuff. You can also join my Algo Trade Camp if you want to see all that. But Visual Studio Code is a free platform. Let's go ahead and just knock this out now. Visual Studio Code, you can download it, and this is where you can edit all of your code, and that's where like you would start coding after you learn. I'm showing you on Google Colab because Google Colab is a super easy way to learn. So what I want to do here now is I want to grab the path. So let's go ahead and say copy path. So I just select BTC USD. I renamed it so it just says BTC USD, and then I click copy path. And then I can close this again by doing that. And since I've already imported pandas as PD, I can say df, and this is just, we're saying a variable. This is a variable, and df is short for data frame. It's just what everybody uses, data frame. And that's like an Excel sheet. So it's just a random name. It can be named anything. And I'm going to say pd.read underscore CSV, and then I'm going to paste in that path. So this is pretty much saying, hey, let's set a variable to this Excel file, and we put the Excel file right here. So we just hit copy path, got the path, and then we're saying, hey, the df equals pd, and remember, we said pd equals pandas. So pandas is this app that allows people to read in pretty much Google Sheets and Excel files and really manipulate data. So I say, hey, use that app, using that app, do this, read the CSV, and this is the link to the CSV with quotes around it. And now if I run it, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing, right? Because I'm not telling it to do anything. I'm just saying, hey, that's the data frame. If I actually want it to do something, I have to say print, because we learned that at the start. So print df. And now you can see I have the date, the open, the high, the low. I can open this up a little bit, the close, the volume, all the data that was in that data frame, just like that. And pandas is one of the, it's for data science. Pretty much every coder in the world gets good at pandas, and I don't see many people sharing this information in a beginner's lesson because it's advanced. But the thing is I just showed you how to code. Like, you know how to do it now. And since this is the #1 package or module or app, whatever you want to call it, that I use as an algo trader, and as everybody else who uses data uses this app, I wanted to show you in this intro video because you've made it so far. Like, I know you're going to do so well with coding because you're so persistent and you're already learning advanced stuff. And if you're just coding along with me, you're doing great. So now you can see I set the data frame to that Excel file. And I want to show you some cool things to wrap it up today with that data frame. So we have all of this data here, and I could say, hey, I just want the open, or I just want the high. So how would I do that? Well, let's go ahead and do this in another cell here. And let's go through some of the things I would like to show you with data frames. So you can see the column names, a little hard to read at first. It's become very easy for me to understand, but I look at these all day. These are the column names. So the date, let's just ignore this part because it's kind of confusing. You can see this is the data frame, right? The date is all the dates. Now this is called time series data. Time series data. Time series data is just data over the course of time. So data that changes every day. So for example, the price of a stock or price of Bitcoin, it changes every day. So it's time series data. This is from 2014, 9/17, and this is 9/18, 2014, 9/19, 2014, 9/20, 2014. So every day the data changes. So that's time series data. The reason I'm telling you what time series data is because a lot of coders will refer to data that changes over time to time series data. What else changes over time? Well, like weather, maybe like sporting events, admissions to sporting events, maybe ticket sales, maybe advertising spend, maybe the clicks to a website, and so on and so on. Things change, right? So you can see this is the date column with all the dates, and this is the open price, all the prices as they change over the time series. And you can see it doesn't show the middle section, or else it would have to show 2,917 rows. So it truncates it a bit. It says all the way 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it says ... 2,913. But watch this. What if I wanted the first 50 rows? I could say print, or I could say first 50, whichever way I want to do it. I could say df.head, and I can put 50. And then I could say print first 50. And it's going to show me the first 50 values of that data frame. So it goes from all the way to November from September. But what if I wanted the last 50? So that's the action, print df.head to get the start. But what if I wanted the last 50? Well, I would do df.tail. And then I would just print out here the last 50. Let's mark this out for now. And the last 50. This gets me the last 50 values. So that's pretty cool, right? And then you can use the slicing as well. Like I could say print df. I just want position 0 to 100. So similar to that. And let's go ahead and mark this out. And this would give me like the 0 to 100. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it, truncates it a little bit all the way to 99. So there's a ton of cool things you can do with data frames. And what if I wanted, so this was slicing. What if I wanted to do something else, like another slice? Let's go ahead and say print. What if I just want the, what if I want the last 10, negative 10 on, like that? Super simple to do. I would get the last 10, or I could say the last 20 on, because this colon here just says onward. Or I could say the opposite. It's colon. This would take me from 0 all the way to the negative 20th. So there's a ton of stuff you can do with data frames. And again, I want to point you towards Google, because Google will show you everything you ever need to know. So just say how to use data frames in Python, or how to use pandas in Python, and so on and so on. That actually reminds me, or write a little note to myself so I don't forget to teach you that as well. Just thought of something that I want to make sure you know. Now, what if I want to see just the date column? Well, I could say print df, and then you say date here. And you can see I just want the data frame of the date. So what happens if I hit that? It's only going to get me the date column. What if I just want the close column? Print df close. And it only gets me the close column, which is pretty awesome, right? So You can see I've been doing this a lot as well, where I'm just wrapping something into a print, but I could also save this to a variable. I could say, let's delete this, or let's keep it there. Let's just mark it out. And I could say close df. Remember, df is just a shortening for data frame. I could say close df equals df.close, or df at the close period, so brackets, parentheses, close. And then I could say print close df, like this. And it will give me the same value. So that, doing this right here is pretty much the same as this, except this that's highlighted is not gonna save it as closed df. So like now, since I've already saved it as closed df, I could say print close df at the last position, like that, -1, and it should just give me 1. Well, it doesn't, because it's a different format. This is pandas. And the reason I wanted to show you that is because intuitively, from what you've learned thus far, this would make sense and this would print. But since this is pandas, it works a little differently. So what I want to do is go to the final section of this training where I'm going to show you how to use pandas at like an advanced level. Now, again, if this doesn't make sense, don't worry, just write it down, code it with me, and do it over and over again, and it will eventually make sense. And then do your own research as well. So I want to show you how to access where one column, what do we want to start with? Let's start with this. I'm going to go ahead and say this. How to access a value out of one column. So you saw I just tried to show you the last position, and in pandas, it's actually more difficult. But you have to just remember it, or you actually don't have to remember it. I don't even remember this. I just Google it every time. What I can say here is, we have this data frame, right? So if we scroll up here, we've got this data frame and it's all this data, okay? And it's called df, so we know that. That's the truth. But if I wanted to say df2 equals only where, let's go ahead and write it and then I'll explain it, because this is some intense code here. So we're gonna make a second data frame where df, and we're doing dot.
So yeah, it seems hard, yeah, but these are the basics. They're the essentials, and this is the best route I've found so far to get into algorithmic coding. So just bear with it, stay with it. We'll get there, guys. We'll get there, man. Between us, we'll get there. One of us is going to find the way. We're going to find the way, and we're going to smash it. We're going to get to the moon, and that's the goal. Independently, privately, together.
Loc, so where the location is on the df, where the close is greater than, let's say, 40,000. So what we're asking for here is we want to see where the close is bigger than 40,000, and we'll set that to df 40k. So essentially, we're making a new data frame and calling it df 40k, and where the data frame location, and then we say in the close, where the close is bigger than 40,000, we'll make that the new df. It might not make sense. It did not make sense to me at the start, but don't worry, just practice, and it will. So df 40k, let's print that out, spell it correctly, and print. And it gives me the data frame where the close amount is higher than 40,000. So you can see the close amount is 40,797, 40,000, 254, 46,000, and so on. And you can see the dates are different, like the first or the January 8th, and then jumps to February 8th. So it's only giving me the data frame where it's over 40K. Now, what if I said under 40K? You can see the close column is 457, 424, and so on and so on. You can also use, like, if it's not equal to 40K, which should be most of them, right? So that's how you use pandas in order to get a certain column based off of a condition. Build a new data frame based off a condition. And don't worry if this is super confusing for you. I actually have a video just on pandas data frames, but I wanted to show you this to start to get your feet wet in some like expert level coding. Now, if this makes any sense to you at all, you are super advanced already, because this took me months on months to understand. But at the end of the day, every time you get stuck and every time I got stuck, I would just say, hey, how do I do this in pandas? And then I would just read what other people said, and then boom, you understand it eventually, right? You just do it over and over again. And to be honest, to this day, I still code and I still use Google. I don't memorize things. Memorization is going to come with time, years and years, but it's not needed. We have Google. We're professional Googlers. That's all we're doing is professional Googling. So I want to show you one more thing. Since you've gone this far, I want to show you one more advanced thing, how to get a specific value out of a data frame. So pretty much, I want to see where, how should we do this? Let's go ahead and write it first, and then I'll explain it. I think that's a better way to do it. So let's say df3 equals df.loc, and say df where the close equals, let's see if we can grab a number here just so we can be perfect. 398.24. So if we for some reason wanted this, we wanted where the close equals that exact number, just to show you how this works, then we want the date. We want the date. So where it shows this number here, we want this date. So how the heck do you get that? Well, I'm showing you how to do that. So essentially this is saying, hey, df.loc, whatever that means, it's saying use that function they built for us. df.loc, where df close equals this exact number, I want the date. I want that. And I want that to be called date of 398 or whatever. And then all I do is I say dot values and I hit 0. And then what's going to happen here? I hit play and nothing happens. Why? Let's go back to step 1, because I didn't put the print. So if you don't put the print, nothing happens. If you got anything out of this, at least you know how to print, right? And now I hit print and it shows me that date. Why? Because I said, hey, where the df close equals this number. So if I look at the data frame and I see that number right here, well, where that is true, I want the date column. And it gives me this date right here, 2014, 9/21. So that's kind of advanced. I have a 30-minute video just on pandas. Definitely go watch that. I'll make sure to put that below as well. But now I just want to tell you a couple more things before we wrap up here. First thing is tap that like button if you haven't already, because I just showed you exactly how to code, and now you are on your way to this is how the people that work at Stripe and get paid $237,000 a year, They're entry-level people. That means this is like their first couple years. They're level 1. They're making 237. That's quite nice, right? They learned all this stuff you just learned today, but they just kept going. So now you have the fundamentals. I would highly recommend watching this video again, using your own values this time. So when I put in something like a sentence, use a different sentence. Or if I make a function named, moon, use a different function name or whatever, because that will really help you learn. So I highly recommend watching this video again if you have the time. If you don't have the time, there is one book that I recommend, and that is on Amazon. And I'm not affiliated with this book at all or anything that I've taught you today. I think it's like Python. What is it? Not for Dummies. Oh, Learn Python the Hard Way. This book was recommended to me when I first got started, and it will teach you absolutely everything you need to learn about Python. If you're one of those people that want to learn absolutely everything, this is everything in there. What I showed you today is, in my opinion, everything. Like, I went through all my bots, all my trading algorithms for the last few years, and I taught you everything you need to know. So like, you're good to go and start building from here and start Googling. But if you want to know like the little fine details, this is a really good book to have. And, even if you don't read the whole book, it's good to just have at your house, and you can, fly through it and just see things when you need it. But at the same time, you also have Google. So if you don't want a book, I just wanted to recommend somewhere to go from here. If you want to learn more about Python, this is a really good way to learn. But in my opinion, one of the best ways is just when you get stuck, just go start building something. If you want to join me in the Algo Trade Camp, feel free to. I teach you exactly how to turn your trading strategy into an algorithmic trading bot using the stuff you learned today. Sure, it's a little more in depth, but it's all of the same fundamentals. So you're really good to go build whatever you want to build. And now you know that coding is really only intimidating because there's big words being used, right? So once you understand the vocab and understand how to Google things, you can do anything because all the answers are online, and it's really amazing. The other thing I want you to do is download Visual Studio Code. This is the code editor that I personally use. If you need help or anything setting that up, let me know in the comment section. I can definitely help with that. It's not too hard at all. There's a ton of videos as well online. Like I said, go watch that other 30-minute pandas video. 30-minute pandas video. I think this is the #1 package for Python. So meaning like it's the #1 used app pretty much for Python is pandas. So if you get really good at that, you'll be able to get every single job that you would ever want is going to use pandas. So definitely get good at that. And then the last thing I want to talk about before I let you go here on your own is typing in pandas documentation. So whenever you import something, that's like I said, it's like an app that you import. Some smart person, some developer put it together, and then you can go ahead and use it forever. Well, if you ever have questions, a good way to understand what you're using is just read the documentation. Now, I will warn you, this is ugly looking, right? It's all just like a bunch of text. But if you read the documentation, like 10 minutes to pandas, you can learn pandas in 10 minutes. That's what they say. I mean, it's not too hard. It's all written here. It's really ugly in my opinion. Just looking at code is so hard for the eyes and is really intimidating. But just read it. It's all in English and it will tell you everything. So you can just go to the pandas documentation and learn absolutely everything. I know a lot of people that will learn how to code just based off of documentation. Look at this, Python documentation. If you want to go deeper in Python and you don't want to buy a book or something, look at this. It's what's new in Python 10, tutorials. It shows you absolutely everything. Everything you need to know is inside of the documentation. And the reason I wanted to talk about documentation is because you're going to read, like when you Google stuff, people are going to be like, check the documentation. Like they're not going to want to, like some people won't answer. They'll just be like, it's in the docs. And it's like, I have to go read these docs. Well, if you like reading, literally all the answers are in documentation. So definitely, if you have time, this will take a long time to read, but go through the Python documentation, even if you're just skimming through it. See, like you can read more about strings that we learned today. You can learn pretty much everything because Python is, again, pretty much just a way to code, and it's a language, and everything is on like 4 statements and even stuff I didn't teach today. It's all in the documentation. So if you really, really want to dive deep and get to know libraries like pandas, you can just always type in pandas documentation or Python documentation. The world is yours. You now have the world unlocked, and I'm so excited because my mission is to help as many people code, because I truly believe coding is the great equalizer. You know, I grew up in the US, which is still to this day quite segregated, and as a mixed race person, I've seen it myself that not everybody is treated the same. Is that right? Of course it's not right. But is it truth? I think so. I've lived, 30 plus years now, and I still see it to this day. But guess what? It doesn't matter what your color is, where you're from, where in the world. If you know how to code, you know something 99.9% of people don't know. And if these companies are hiring people who know how to code, well, they don't have many people to hire. So it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter, how much money you have, what type of family you come from, what color your skin is, what language you speak. If you know the language of coding, guess what? That's all that matters. It's a Boolean. It's a Boolean. Remember, a Boolean is true or false. Do you know coding? Yes or no? Is it true? Do you know how to code now? Yes, it's true now. You just watched this long video, exactly how to code step by step here on YouTube. I really hope you take what you've learned today and build something amazing. I have the chills right now. I'm so excited that I was finally able to put this full video together so you can watch it as many times as you need to. Let's do a brief review of everything we've learned today, and then I'm going to let you go. And all I ask is just go ahead and join us. Like, click this link here on Algo Trade Camp because it sends you to a Discord chat. You don't have to buy anything, but I would love to hear your results someday. What did you end up coding? Like I said, you can get into our group here by going to algotradecamp.com. Again, you don't have to buy anything. It's going to direct you to our Discord. And I'm just excited for you because like you're so motivated, like you're so persistent, you're so perfect for coding because you made it through this whole video. So today we learned how to code in Python for 2023 and beyond, really. So forever, you're gonna know how to code. You can pick up any language you want to code now. Today we went over, how to print things, what Booleans are, numbers in Python, the different types of numbers, how to count in Python, how to import things, packages, modules, how to use the operators, how to do math in Python, what sentences or strings are, how to slice things. You've done so much today. I'm so proud of you. What variables are. They're just boxes to store stuff. And lists, they're just like a bunch of stuff that you're storing, right? So you know what dictionaries are. You know all this stuff. We absolutely killed it today. You learned how, to use if statements, elif statements, else statements. And I'm here for you. If you ever have any questions, just let me know because I want to empower the world. As long as you know how to use YouTube or TikTok, you can code. That's why I'm so passionate about this. You learn indexing, loops, while loops, and for loops. And most importantly, you learn that this is not for some genius person. Like, as long as you can Google, you can do great with coding. Just learn these core concepts that I taught today. You learn functions, how to return functions, how to get a piece of the function, how to go ahead and pass things into a function. Any part that you have questions on, just Google it and just learn more and read more about all of these things I've taught you today. I've taught you everything you need to know, plus some. I even taught you some pandas, which is almost another language on top of Python. So Go ahead and take what you've learned today. Ask any questions you do have in the comment section. I have that Discord that you can get to by going to Algo Trade Camp or clicking the link below. It's going to point you to the Discord at some point. Just go through that funnel. If you do want to connect, hey, if you don't want to connect, my mission is to help as many people in the world learn how to code for free here on YouTube. And if you're at this point of the video, I've already done that for you. So I just wish you the best. I hope you get absolutely everything in this life that you've ever wanted. And don't let anybody ever tell you you can't do something. I know that's cliche, but I'm that kid where all the teachers were like, you're gonna amount to nothing. All my coaches were like, you better focus on this, or else you're gonna end up poor and you're not gonna be able to pay your bills and whatnot. And it's just like, if I would have listened to those people like my friends did, I would not be where I am today. And I'm just so thankful. And I'm so thankful to be in the position to be able to.
Okay, there we go. It's an honest guy, man. What he's saying is true. Coding is the way forward. I know this. We're going to do this now. We'll do one more video. Let's just see what these guys are doing first. Let's go back and see what these guys are doing first. Let's jump back in here. Members chat. Where is it? Here we go. Back to the Zoom meeting. Yeah, don't forget to add the Twitter. The Twitter is at abundant.
Recording in progress.
Can be copied, but by default it is
See, that's
closed.
giving out pure code, man.
So you can hit like a arrow to open it if you want. Nah. Chill. We need that. We need the console output. You're supposed to be learning how to code over there. I believe code is a great equalizer, dude.
Pure code.
You better be learning.
Pure
I hope you're
code.
learning. I hope you get some skills out of this. I hope you get some skills out of this. I hope you do. I hope you do.
The Twitter, abundance M80835. That's us there.
That ain't it.
We've got there's an API for today. Bosch. We're going to leave that. And guys, I think that's it. Don't forget to like, copy, not like, follow, share, tell a friend, learn, watch some YouTube videos about coding. I'll do another upload later on. Thanks, bye. Thanks a lot, bye. Thanks.